Hey everybody, how's it going? It's time for the Tuesday just after Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast. It's Joe, as you know, and let's jump right into what we got. So, Bill said he visited his family over the weekend. Congrats, Bill. Happy for you. I didn't do shit over my weekend, so yeah. Hope you enjoyed your time with your kids, and you already insinuated you enjoyed the time with your wife. You fucking, he paused when he said he got to see his wife. He said, I had to wait until the kids were asleep. And right there, you know where he's going with it. But he pauses, and he makes it awkward as fuck. Because now all the rest of us are just, in our heads, we're imagining, like he talks about the saunas. He talks about like the older guys, who just don't give a shit. And they come in with their Soviet era. Look at me in my younger age. In there, the Korean or the Vietnam Wars or the World War II era. He said they walk in with their, old man junk out. And I just think it's funny because, he put that image in everybody's head. And I don't know if he realized he paused. So it's like, with the pause, it was like, what is he going to say? Like, what do you say? Like, so I got to spend some time with my wife late after the kids were asleep. And then you leave it there. So you just got people in their heads fucking wondering what could possibly, we know what could have happened, but with all the special Hollywood parties they have nowadays, I'm not saying you guys are into anything, but, you're supportive of the letters community, and, I'm sure Nia is supportive of, all rights, not even just, the letters and sexual, male, female, etc., but all letters, colors, and combinations. But no, I thought that was pretty funny. And then goes into the saunas, talking about having your own towel for this and for that. And dude, I would rather hot box steam my bathroom than ever even try a public sauna. Even like Bill, as a richer, like I always say to everybody who's listening to me, and to me and all the people around me, you're the billionaire to us, the billionaire. Your name's Bill. Fuck off. But no, yeah. So I don't. Even as a someone with money, I couldn't see. I'd have to have my own sauna, or I'd have to have it like I'd pay for it to be privately cleaned, and then and then I'd rent it out. Like me and all the whoever you're hanging out with, you obviously got some boys or people out in New York, you're going to shows and doing shit. His podcast, he said, was a little shorter because he was late for old Twinkle Toes rehearsals, dancing around the studio in his pink pajamas. Or I'm just thinking like ballerina. I don't. It's just where I go with the plays, because there's always a lot of music and dancing. But no, so all right, going into my last video, I said I had a friends family, well, not family, but friends dinner kind of deal, and all unique and different people. And the one who hosts it, she's got a collection. She collects, I guess the best way to describe it would be like taxidermy. She collects dead animals and then parts of dead animals. So, she'll just walk out with she had a human femur. And the first question my friends and I had were like, how the hell do you even get a human bone legally? And then you can just keep it in your room. Like, she could literally use it as a weapon. If someone broke in the house, she could club you, or, not you, but whoever's breaking in, she could club them. Like, she could femur the crap out of them, and I guess come to find out, obviously schools do it, for research and whatnot. So, I guess she took that avenue and, it works. So she's got a collection of all kinds of cool stuff. But, no, on the note, the reason I bring up the family dinner thing is her son is the one who makes the woodwork I was talking about. The one who's, crafts like, you'd imagine crafts like Jesus crafted, if, since he was a carpenter, if you imagine, what his woodwork would have been. It's like that this kid is, for 18 years old, and using school materials, which, let's assume based off of the education budget on the country, we're going to say school materials are at a all-time low in quality. So based on that and the work he did, like I said, I spent $30 on one pen. I gotta put my own ink back in it when it's, when it runs out and all, but it's custom. It's, the design I wanted. It's the wood I wanted. Like I said, no splinters. It's nice, smooth finish. It's like, wood flooring installed, but it's a pen. And like I said, the only word I can think of being, the fatty inside that I am. Well, on the outside too, but, that's a work in progress, Bill. Speaking of turning around in the mirror and seeing your belly, I can do like 3 laps around the... I can turn all the way around in the mirror and still see the belly in the back, the front. So, so you said you're kind of envious of people that, get to eat their donuts. Well, I want to let you know, Bill, since I'm on the lower end of the spectrum, and I know that you said, fresh food is cheap, and yeah, it is, but I don't have the time to go and buy an apple and a banana and avocado. I can't even imagine eating your rabbit food and an avocado every day. Like, dude, if you really want 20 more years or 10, 15 more years at best, and you're willing to give up all those flavors and all that goodness, then by all means, man, I mean, enjoy your life. But if I'm only living it once, if somebody tells me 60 or 75 donuts or rabbit food, I'm doing 60 with the donuts all day, man. I mean, 7 deadly sins, you don't even believe in your own religion, so I'm not going to say I believe in, necessarily, 7 or 10 or 5, or I don't think there's a number on it, you got until Tuesday to fix your problems, or, come Sunday, I don't care what you say at church. I don't think it works that way. But then, no, so yeah, I mean, it was a cool little family get together thing. We always get some food, and they're real cool. They welcome me to Michigan. It's like I said, I've been hazed a little bit getting here. Speaking of hazing, I want to throw something back at all the Michigan people, or even not even Michigan, just something down in Florida. People never really use the word high-low for a forklift, and I get it. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad. It's like when Bill was talking about the flight attendant, being called a steward or stewardess, and now it's a flight attendant and just describes what you do. Well, a high-low, that's kind of like the way of saying a forklift. What does it do? It goes high and low, so I think that's hilarious, and it's funny because I get the ignorant Southern guy and the yeehaw, Florida boy shit. And then here we are calling, I don't want to say advanced machinery, but here we are calling machines high loads. So when I go to a mall now and I get on an escalator and somebody's like, when I have kids, one day, hopefully, probably if I do, it'll be along the Bill line, if I can find somebody in my 40s, because like his emailer, my wife cheated and took the house and everything, so... Not took the house, we didn't own it, but, she kept it. I was the one who packed my cat in my bag and hauled ass. But, yeah, so I'm on that path. So, to the dude that wrote in, I'm assuming it was a dude. Yeah, you said you're white, yeah. So, well, either way, whoever wrote in, just so we cover the bases, just know that I'm in your position, but a little bit ahead. I started my life, fresh. That's part of why I came to Michigan. Get away from just all the 30 plus years of, all the memories in Florida, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. It's just best to start, like Bill said, start fresh, ignore all the other stuff you can, save your ass if you can, and really just focus on you in the future. Because if I would have told myself right when I found out that, my wife did what she did, if I would have told myself, what happened, I wouldn't have believed me. I wouldn't have believed it when I'd have said, oh, your credit rating is almost here. You live in Michigan. You got a job, a full-time job. You're doing this podcast until Bill or some famous person sues you, which we're hoping is Bill. Well, we're not hoping for the sue, but we're hoping, that's, like I said, Burr or bust, which it's really not that cold. Like he says, in the 40s now up north. So I guess it's not Burr. I I don't have any fake companies to advertise for you this week, but if I did, I can't even use code Burr because it's not that cold. Unless it's Florida people, then it's code Burr after it gets under 60. Let's see. What else did Bill go into? He did mention sports a little bit, and I have my own little take on sports. It kind of goes with the politics, so don't judge me if I'm on the wrong side of what you believe, but in the NFL, I was thinking about it. You got the AFC and the NFC. You got the American Football Conference and the National Football Conference. Well, now that we got the Gulf of America, and all of it's America this, America that, where are the Mexican, the Brazilian, Argentina, the Canadian, NFL teams? If it's the American Football Conference, it should be all of the Americas. I mean, we're all America, right? So we got to start representing in equal proportions here. And then the National Football Conference is just as confusing because, yeah, they're all teams from one country, but being the National Conference, you'd think it'd be other nations. So again, where are the European, American football teams? Because I don't want to say football because, for everybody else in the world, football is soccer. So, American football teams. But, so the conferences is kind of a, so now we're going to have to rename those to it's going to be probably like the Trump conference or the MAGA conference and the Kamala, or however he says it, conference. And then it got me thinking about my favorite sport, hockey. Because we got NHL, and so I'm thinking about the East. My favorite team is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yes, I was a fan back in the early 2000s, before they were anybody, back when Vinny LeCavalier was our, big name. And so, no, I'm not bandwagon, like the people say for Yankee fans that aren't from New York, or even Patriots fans that weren't, from Boston or from New England, and they started winning. Even now, like Kansas City, all the fans of Kansas City Chiefs coming out of the woodworks all around the country, even besides, Taylor Swift. But no, I got to the hockey and I was thinking like, all right, you got the Atlantic Division and the Metro Division on the eastern side. And I get Metro, okay, metropolitan area, like big city. So, all right, for example, the New York teams, you got the New York Rangers. They're in the Metro Division. It makes sense. They play in Madison Square Garden, New York City. You could buy a slice of pizza and throw it, and if you threw it good enough, you might just hit the Garden. This is a figure of speech, of course, but it's that close. I mean, literally, you could, from Times Square to the Garden is, it's not even a 5 minute. I'd say like a 5 minute walk if you're taking time. So, okay, Metro makes sense. They're in the middle of one of the biggest cities. Now you got the New York Islanders, only a few miles away over on Long Island, but they're more in I'd say like a residential or maybe even, industrial, but they're not like Long Island, yes, it's part of New York City as far as the Metro, so I understand that, but they're on the water. Why aren't they Atlantic Division? And then you got teams like Detroit, which, it's the local, I guess the closest local team for me now. And they're in the Atlantic. And I'd argue they should be Metro because, you got the Toledo, like less than an hour away. You got Detroit right there. You got Canada right across the bridge. Nowhere fucking near the Atlantic. The Florida Panthers in Miami, they're on the Atlantic. Tampa should be Metro. And I'm a Tampa fan, and both divisions are hard, but, we're on the Gulf of America or Mexico, however you want to call it. So that should be, Metro. And then you got like the Carolina Hurricanes. That's Atlantic to me, but they're in the Metro. It's weird. Like, why do you have half your teams branded as one type and then not in that category? Like, what, it's just it's kind of funny, like, did they even think about where they put these things? Or is it just like, well, we got an extra space in the beer and wine category, so we're going to go ahead and throw some Budweisers in there, and I guess there you go, free Budweiser advertisement for you. So yeah, if anybody can answer those sports things, yeah, see what the future of sports is going to be. Thankfully, we do have hockey back. So, no football, baseball, we're getting into spring training, but, still a way to go. You got racing, starting back up for most series, so things are looking good. But hockey, for sure, for me personally, that's my go-to. I kind of with Bill and with a lot of people on football. Not that it's rigged per se. I don't know if you can get a whole entire team to buy in on a rig, but maybe with the right pay, but there's got to be one person that's got more pride than they want the money, Like Mariano Rivera from the Yankees. He played like 19 years and he never took a raise. That's because he had pride, and he was just proud to be the dominant guy he was. He didn't care about the money. He could have gone to any team for any amount of money and been a shutdown closer for the same amount of time. And he stayed with the Yankees. Stayed with the same contract. He never got 500 million for 20 years. No, it was like 1.5 or 15 or whatever it was, per year, like all the way down the stretch. So, people like that I like that stuff, So let's see where it goes. But I don't know if you could get a whole entire team to throw a game. You'd have to pay them a lot. So we got the Florida State Fair, Strawberry Festival, and all kind of Gasparilla, everything in Florida going on. Come to find out, all the fairs and festivals around here, if there are any, are pretty much canceled, or they don't happen either because it's too cold, or I guess they're, it's dangerous. Like they've been having people having, fights or issues or whatever. So that's a bummer. I mean, how am I supposed to meet people and, socialize and do things if every time you go out of the house, all you can do is, all I can do is go to the store and go back home. You got Menards, you got Myers, you got Walmart, you got a little, liquor store here and a Metro T-Mobile and a little pizza place, And if you can't tell by now, I'm sitting in my podcast studio, aka the car or the truck, in a plaza. We're not at the pharmacy. We're not at the CVS pharmacy today. We're in a little plaza with some liquor stores and some other shit. I said half the word, so I might as well figure it or finish it. But yeah. On that note, I have on the friend's dinner. There's a friend. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the name and all that. I'm gonna leave everything out, of course. Unless I ever got famous to where I could just name drop all these people and not give a shit if they got mad, because they're my friends for one. Like Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias with Martin, Martin. Like he's name dropped him every time. Maybe not as quite inappropriate, but so if I ever get to a point like that, then I'll name drop. But for now, a friend at this family friends gathering we have once every month or so, we were talking about it because there's a midget wrestling event going on in Detroit coming up next month, and I was like, well, that would be different to go to. And he says, yeah, I've always wanted to go just because I want to get with a small woman. And I said, again, no judgment, love is love, pleasure is pleasure if you look at it that way. But out of curiosity, I said, what? They say like here in the U.S. at least, if you have a thing for Asian women, that's like they call it, they having yellow fever, or I don't know what it would be for, if Asian people like Americans, like donut fever or big belly fever. I don't know what we would be. It'd be worse. But yeah, they got you got your you're not stereotypes, but your words for crushes and stuff. So I don't know what the word would be for it. But I asked them, it's like, so what got you into the idea of wanting to sleep with a little woman? And he said, just because I want to look real big in her hand. Oh, that made me, I was dying because I can't vouch for, any little people, but I don't think that the hands and feet are much smaller. Like, dude, if that's the way you're building your ego, You might want to look into some backup methods just in case. Just in case. And the poor girl, you know, because she's gonna be in your pictures in your phone forever. Because you're gonna feel proud of that. You're gonna be able to look at this. You know, I look like I'm packing packing the heat here. And meanwhile, you got, you know, a little toy like those little sticky fingers that kids would slap against the wall. You got like one of those wrapped around your Johnson. No, I just don't think the hands work like that, you know, but I thought it was just more of like the height, because when you look like, there's the one comedian, I don't remember his name, but he's a shorter guy, you know, and you look at him in the face, like if you were to just do a profile picture, you wouldn't know he's a small human, or whatever the politically correct term is. But then when you zoom out and you get him on stage, it's like, oh shit, he's only half of ours, you know, half the height. But the face and the arms or hands and legs, as far as I know, didn't really, you know, the proportions seemed the same for an adult. So, yeah, I'm interested on that one too. That's a good one. And then the only other thing I have, like I said, don't have any. I guess I could do my competition to Bill and Squarespace. Because Squarespace, according to Bill and his advertisements, you know, from them, is a place online you can go to open up your business and spread your business. Well, like I said, compete with Squarespace. Don't be a square. Get out in regular space. Get out where there's no air and no limits. You can expand your business out there. Once you leave the atmosphere and the gravity, you could literally, I mean, if you got the materials, you could build almost indefinitely, almost in any direction. Just not towards the sun. Obviously, it's going to get hot. But, you know, I mean, you could expand your business in every direction forever, man. So instead of going to Squarespace and using Bill Burr's code for a discount, just fly into space and hope you got an oxygen tank that lasts forever, man. Don't be a square. Run out of air. Oh, man. Bill, when you talk about laughing at your own failures, this is going to be, I am going to look back at these videos, especially the beginners, as some of the greatest, dumbest things I've ever done in my life. Oh, man, that's great. But no, lastly, I'll go to Malafors. Just like Bill says, like most of us, you know, I know he's got the money to go to saunas and fancy plays and fancy shows and concerts and fly out across the country to see his wife and kids for a day and a half. But I got to save up for like 2 years and save my days off just to fly across the state so I can see like the other side of the water, man. You know, I'm speaking for all us, 5-figure, you know, or less people out there. We don't get the luxury. We don't have that corporate apartment. You fucking flying on jets and, you know, and then he was talking about the guy videoing himself coming out of the plane. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, it is kind of shocking, but at the same time, that one thing right there got your fucking attention, Bill. I've been making, like, not making fun of you, but copying and teasing the shit you say and damn near riding your ass for a month. And it might be years. And you're not, who knows when, you might never fucking notice. That's the best part. But this guy, because he's, you know, he goes from I'm about to die on a plane to like, woo, holy shit, what the fuck, holy, you know, or whatever you were saying, he was saying. It was hilarious because that's all he could come up with. But dude, I'd have done the same thing. That's instant viral. That's instant moneymaker. Especially I survived. The adrenaline's going. You're not thinking about, you know, oh wow, this is like the severity of, you know, like you're just thinking, you know, and the same thing with car explosions in the movies. Every car explodes in the movies. As soon as you crash, it's boom, and it does the flip, and you land on top of the roof, but the people are okay, or it's like they're bleeding, but they're like, yeah, just take the seatbelt off and just drag me out of all the glass on the ground. Like, like that shit's not, like, the shit's real. Dude, he's not thinking about the gas. And even if it did explode, like, the video's over. It's not, I don't think you could run fast enough. Like, by the time you dropped out of your seatbelt and upside down monkey barred your way down the fucking, the roof of the plane, I don't think he gave a shit at that point. I think he was just happy that he had survived the first flip and just hoped there wasn't anything else, No, I do understand. It is crazy to think that's your first thought. But I haven't been in a similar situation. I haven't flipped any planes. But I have been in situations where my first thought after something crazy was like, why the fuck didn't I record that? Or I should have been recording, or did anybody record it? Or, like, get the reactions while they're hot, while they're fresh. It's actually one of the crappy parts about doing this is I listen to you and then I got all night to stir on it. So I think of funny shit and I write it down, and then I, think of something even more funny and I write on top of that, and then I get to the point where it's like, well, I got so many notes that I get to hear, and I'm looking at my notes like I am now, and it's like, dude, everything's everywhere, because I've had so much time, not so much, but, I've had time to think about different ways to approach it, and then I just bomb it. It's just ruined. But, look at this, man. Bill's got me on a rant. The fucking guy who rants has me on a rant about the guy who rants not even ranting. Yeah. No, the last thing I wanted to mention, Malifaux. It's videos, online. Like he said, we're all just bored watching videos. So I saw a thing on Malifaux. Metaphors and Alabama. I don't know what the fuck I don't know what the other half is. But it's, like they got the sayings like, kill two birds with one stone. Or, yeah, you miss 100, or you miss 100% of the chances you didn't take, or as easy as stealing candy from a baby, things like that are all these, common, like, household sayings. But what they do is they mash them up. So, like, the one I saw, it started out, the guy's like, it's not it's not rocket surgery. Instead of rocket science or brain surgery, they mixed them in. And that, caught my interest, but then it went on. And the one I liked the best was, you only miss 100% of the candy you don't take from a baby. How fucked up is that? You only miss, it's true. If you don't take the candy from the baby, you're not going to eat it. But it's also taking candy from a baby. It's the point. It's easy, but you still miss it if you don't do it. But no, they have I wish there was more. Like, the early bird gathers no moss, the rolling stone gets the worm. You mix those up. You could go for days, and you know what? With that, I'm gonna end on my own. And this goes on. It's Tuesday, so everybody have a good, rest of your week. I'll catch you in on Friday, see what Bill said. Hopefully he said some interesting shit. Hopefully he's got some funny. But on my own Malifaux, oh man, I just lost it. Fuck, what was it? I can't. I gotta end on it now because it was that great, and it was it was to Bill, but it was to all of us. Oh yeah. So, like I said, have a great week. Everybody out there on my level, don't work too hard. Your life is more important than, profits for the big corporations. If you work for Bill, hopefully he pays you enough to pay your rent, because he brings that up a lot. And on that note, if at first you don't succeed, have a good week and go fuck yourselves. I'm out.